What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another transfer update video. Today we'll be looking at the latest goings off at Arsenal. Are we getting closer to another major signing at the football club after Gabriel Jesus was finally tied up this week? And what player could be on his way out of Arsenal? Keep it locked here and I'll give you all the latest news. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing daily updates, you know, lots of collaborations lined up. We've got Arsenal's first watch-along of the pre-season this Friday, as obviously Arsenal play against Nuremberg over there in Germany. I'll be doing a watch-along for that, so make sure you tune in for that. A couple things to get into before we get into today's show, people. I won't keep you for too long. Thank you very much to everyone who tuned in yesterday. We obviously got Ben Jacobs on here from CBS Sports. Very good interview. Had a lot of good feedback on that. Ben has assured me that he will come on again before the end of the transfer window. So he must have enjoyed the interview. So big up to him. Really appreciate him giving up his time. And the interview even made it into the national press today, which was, yeah, interesting that they picked up on that. I believe it was in the Express and the Telegraph. So yeah, big up to them for picking up on that, man. I told you we got good source of information here on this community, people. And the other bit of news, people, I was on Troops' channel today on his podcast. For those of you that follow Troops on YouTube, I was on his Back Again podcast. We recorded it this morning, and I believe that should be out sometime on Thursday or Friday. We had a good laugh on there, so make sure you go and look out for that one. That's a good show. Should be out in the next day or two. Let's talk transfers. Let's talk Arsenal. Who are we going to sign? We've all... If you're anything like me, the Gabriel Jesus news doesn't offer me any excitement anymore. And I know that seems a little bit spoiled. It's like when you're a kid, you get the new toy, then the newer toy comes out, you know, and you push that one to the side. Jesus, you're in. I'm happy. Great news. We need the next one. Who is the next one going to be? Now, yesterday we were speaking in quite a bit of detail about Youri Tielemans. And obviously Ben Jacobs was saying, listen, they've agreed personal terms. He wants to join. He's waiting for the offer. Mark Irwin of the Sun newspaper has come out with an exclusive today. Hopefully this is an exclusive. But he says Arsenal have stepped up their interest in Youri Tielemans and are ready to make a £30 million offer in the next few days. So yesterday we were talking about a potential price. Leicester really, for me, can't be asking for more than 30, maybe maximum 35 million with add-ons. You're talking about a guy that's got 1 year left on his contract. Let's be totally honest, Youri Tielemans did not have a fantastic season last year. He produced some decent numbers, but in a lot of the bigger games, he wasn't at his best, and some Leicester fans even accused him of downing tools as he seeks a move elsewhere. Now, when you see Gabriel Jesus, Arsenal, 45 million, Raheem Sterling getting close to a move to Chelsea, 45 million, I think 5 million in add-ons. Tielemans, to me, is not worth more than 30 to 35 million with a year left on his contract under these circumstances. Now, for me, I want Arsenal to get a midfielder signed ASAP because I don't believe our midfield is good enough at the moment to get top four. Lokonga, it was a settling in season for him. He needs to do better this season. El Nene, I think, was quite fortunate to get a new contract. I would have probably let him go. Granit Xhaka, for me, time to move on, in my opinion. And obviously Thomas Partey as well, who, you know, crazy. And you know what, just, I'm not going to speak about this for too long, but a lot of you have been asking me about this whole situation and accusations that are being made towards, obviously, a certain Arsenal player. I think it's very important to act responsibly when you're now on a public platform, which I'm fortunate enough to be. And I do believe that you shouldn't really put his name to anything until we have evidence and we know what is the case. So I think it would be irresponsible of me to mention a player's name regarding a situation when we don't know the full circumstances. Listen, If he's guilty, then you know what it is. You know, there's no defending that situation. But we have to move on an innocent until proven guilty basis. So I won't be discussing it. I think it's, you know, it's something that we'll hear about, I'm sure, in the next week or two, and then we'll see where that situation lies. So that's all I'll say on that matter, people, for those who've been asking. But in terms of a football point of view, we're not good enough in midfield at the moment. And for me, I would have liked to have seen two midfielders join Arsenal this summer. Now, the flip side of this Youri Tielemans deal, and the next person we're going to discuss, is MilinkovicSavage. Now, at the start, I was like, is this an agent throwing, you know, an offer around? Reports coming out of Italy today that Arsenal are preparing a second offer for MilinkovicSavage. Their first offer, about £43 million plus add-ons, apparently was rejected. MilinkovicSavage was named Player of the Year last year at Lazio. 11 goals, 11 assists. Played a little bit further forward than he has in the past. It's believed Lazio are willing to let him go if they can get around 70 to 75 million euros, which equates to about 65 million pounds. Now, is he worth it, first of all? I know a lot of people in the community rate him highly. I think he's a good player. The questions I would ask about him is, number one, how does he fit into the Arsenal midfield? If he's playing a more advanced role, how do you get him in this team? Do we need more of a deep-lying playmaker, someone that can come and get the ball off the centre-back and start the attacks and open teams up? Is that the role he's playing? He looks like he's played a little bit more advanced than that this season. Does he fit into the system? Do you believe he's worth 60 to 65 million? Serie A to the Premier League can be a difficult transition at times. Not too many have come from there and done really, really well in this country. Maybe he can. Let me know in the comments. Do you know what? I'm going to ask the question. If you can get Youri Tielemans for £30 million, or you can get MilinkovicSavage for £60 million, who would you rather buy out of the two? You know, on one hand, people will say Tielemans played in the Prem, knows the league, and he's 50% of the price. Some people will say, I don't care about the price. I simply want the better player. 11 goals, 11 assists. He's big. I believe he's 6'3", 6'4". Maybe some people will say MilinkovicSavage is just a better player and they would rather go for him. I've got to be honest. It's a tough one. You know, I've done the usual stuff over the last couple of days. You know, MilinkovicSavage YouTube. I've caught up on some bits. He looks like he had a fantastic season last year. If he could produce that in the Prem, then I'm interested. I can't lie, but I would like to see at least one of them. I know, sorry to go over an old name, but when you look at it, you think Arsenal could have bought Basuma and Tielemans for about £55 million. That would have been the powerful box-to-box midfielder and the creative ball player. That, for me, would have been the perfect combination in terms of finances. But let me know in the comments, Tielemans or MilinkovicSavage. For me, I think Arsenal mustn't be fully convinced by Youri Tielemans, because surely they would have pulled the trigger on that deal, paid the 30-odd million and got the deal done. They're clearly looking elsewhere. Maybe he's not quite the ideal player that they are chasing. But Mark Irwin in the Sun saying that Arsenal are preparing an offer. So we'll have to see on that one. But let me know in the comments what you think about that. Let's talk about Fabrizio Romano, the transfer guru of transfer windows. When he speaks, people tend to listen. He was on the K Galazzo pod earlier today. I've probably butchered that name. But he basically said on there that Arsenal will see if they can sign a winger in this window. What he actually said is, for Arsenal, we will see if they will go for another winger. They will try to let you know who the player is that they will target. He said, I have an indication, but I can't speak yet because I have to check and I want to make sure I'm mentioning the right name. So he's saying a lot, but not really saying much. He's basically feeding us a little, you know, a few crumbs off the plate. Oh, you want a winger? But I don't want to tell you the name that I've been told just in case. I mean, listen, we've seen with journalists over the last few days, you know, you don't speak out unless you are 100% sure of your source, or you can end up in a lot of trouble. Who would you like to see come to Arsenal? The fact that Arsenal were willing to offer maybe 40, 50 million for Rafinha, we know that wasn't enough, would indicate that Arsenal are looking for a winger. Now, let me know what winger you would like to see Arsenal go for. People have said people like Pedro Neto, maybe Moussa Diaby. Some people even saying Wilfred Zaha. Is he too old now? I'm not sure. He had a good season. Trossard at Brighton. There are a number of names being mentioned at the moment. I would have loved to have seen Arsenal sign Raheem Sterling. I am convinced if we'd have got Champions League football, we'd have had a chance. But being in Europa League, we never had a chance in that race. If Arsenal are looking for a winger, Gakpo is another one people have mentioned. What winger would you like to see Arsenal go for? Give me a realistic name that you believe we could sign. Somebody that can maybe add goals to this team. And if Pepe was to leave, you know, that would only leave us with Smith Rowe, Martinelli and Saka in wide positions. With Europa League as well, I think we will need a fourth winger. So let me know what winger you would like to see Arsenal go for. I have to admit, I was a big fan of Pedro Neto at Wolves, but he's had a bad knee injury, and I think you've got to kind of wait a little bit. Daniel Podence is another one that I like as well, although he kind of played in that 10 role a little bit at Wolves. Zaha, a player that I've always liked. I'm just not sure at 29 whether Arteta would go for him. So let me know. Let me know in the comments, people. What winger would you like to see Arsenal go for? And speaking of wingers, Reiss Nelson, who's been out on loan for the season over there in Holland at Feyenoord. He's had a decent season, not an amazing season. It's believed that Arsenal are willing to sell him in this window. He's got a year left on his contract. A lot of people were saying maybe he could come in and be that fourth choice winger and a challenge for a spot. But it looks as if Arsenal are willing to sell him. I don't think he did enough at Feyenoord to make Arsenal think he has a big future at Arsenal. And I think they will maybe use his decent form at Feyenoord to cash in on him. Now, Feyenoord are interested in signing him. They've just sold one of their wingers to Leeds. I believe it's Sinisterra. But they are struggling to afford his wages and the transfer fee. So Arsenal may have to negotiate something here. But looks as if Reiss Nelson could be on his way out. Would you have liked to have seen him stay at Arsenal? Is he good enough? I have to admit, I've never really seen the transition from under-23s to first team. He was considered a superstar in the under-23s. Many coaches actually said he was better than Jadon Sancho when he was playing for England at youth level, and he just hasn't fulfilled his potential as of yet. Maybe he needs a new challenge elsewhere. What would you do with Reiss Nelson? And the final story of the day, I mean, it's silly season. We all know this. You know, your friends, brothers, sisters, aunties, nephews, niece has just spotted Lionel Messi in a helicopter outside of the Arsenal stadium. It's that kind of time. But Arsenal, James Bond is at it again. Now, we all remember in January when they were hunting down the number plate of Alexander Isak. He was in London. He must be signing for Arsenal. We've triggered the release clause. You know, he's signing for us. Actually, he was just in London doing a bit of shopping during the mid-season break. And there was nothing to it. But this picture came out earlier. Lisandro Martinez's agent has been spotted at London Colney. The Tesla in the picture has a Dutch license plate. And also, apparently, the license plate is Amsterdam-based. And apparently is seen at the Ajax Stadium before. Listen, I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I am in big, big trouble. And I don't want to be in big, big trouble. So there you go. Number plates are being typed up as we speak. Listen, it could be Lisandro's agent. Maybe he's flown over. Maybe he'll meet Arsenal. Maybe he'll meet Manchester United. It could be him. I am not going to get embroiled in typing in man's number plate. If I see him holding up the shirt, then we keep it moving. If not, then forget about it. It is what it is, people. But yeah, Arsenal, James Bond are at it again. I'm telling you. If you need to find someone, you don't need a private detective. Just get Arsenal Twitter involved and you will have no problem finding them. Thank you very much to everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Like I said, thank you everyone who tuned into the Ben Jacobs interview yesterday. Look out for the show I recorded today on Troops TV. Should be out Thursday or Friday. I'll also be doing Talk is Cheap tomorrow. That should be out tomorrow evening. So lots of content. I'll be doing another update tomorrow on here. And we'll probably do a live stream on Friday. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are. And I'll see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.